In this portion of the Kegan reading, pages 73 to 100 respectively, we talk about parenting and minding our children, or minding children. As you know, I myself, some others in the class do have children, but I do not have children. I am not a parent myself. However, we define more clearly what the third consciousness is, and I'd like to read what it is because it very clearly lays it out. And it is the mental capacity that enables us to think, or enables one to think abstractly, identify a complex internal psychological life, orient to the welfare of human relationship, construct values and ideals self-consciously, known as such, and subordinate one's own interests on behalf of one's great loyalty to maintaining bonds of friendship, team, or group participation. This is seen as the culmination or the goal of adolescence. When an adolescent achieves this and achieves this cross-categorical construction, we see them as a very successful adolescent. But what we're asked in this section is if this evolution into the third consciousness allows us to successfully navigate the adult life of America, or our modern days. Are we fully equipped in having this third order of consciousness to navigate our way through the challenges? It should. We should be able to have this ability to internalize and identify our social surroundings. But the question that is asked is if the fit between what we're able to do and what we're expected to do is good, not whether the capability itself or the expectation itself is good, but rather if those two things, just cohesively fit together. So we see that the skills that were once exalted and admired in a teenager, this cross-categorical construction, having concern and regard for another, is now proving this source of unhappiness, or this lack of skills in this adult life. And so there's a discord between how adults are making sense of their culture and the way that culture is demanding that they make sense. It brings into thought our idea of like a school and a curriculum and understanding. And so where an unsympathetic school blames its students for not mastering an unclear curriculum, blaming them for not understanding something that has not been laid out for them, a humane school or a humane culture fosters students' learning of the curriculum by providing supports and guides rather than blaming them for their stupidity. But the question that comes into action is how we provide this support when we in fact don't know what we're supporting them towards in the first place. We need to understand what our curriculum is and how it works before we can master it. So we go over a few expectations of contemporary parenting. The first is to exercise authority over one's children. This is daunting and harsh and might seem distasteful, but necessary. And the next is managing your boundaries, understanding that the 2-year-old in your family does not have the same responsibilities and ought not to have the same responsibilities as the adult, and understanding that those boundaries are very important in sectioning, our familial relationships is vital. The third is that parents need to set limits, respecting the division of adult feelings, concerns, and information, and those concerns and information that pertain to a child, and having this idea of exclusion and inclusion, and understanding where the division is between those two. Apart from parenting, there are expectations of partnering in our adult life. The first, with one's partner in an intimate relationship, such as a wife and husband. Some of the concerns or the expectations of that relationship is the development of differentiated and clearly defined sense of self, two distinct persons with separate identities. The second is a transcendent of romanticized ideals of marriage in favor of the recognition that marriage is a partnership between two distinct individuals who might not share one heart, one mind, and one soul, and understand that this distinctness is profitable. The third is that the preservation of the couple as a distinct subgroup in the family is important, separate from children and separate from their relationship or their roles as a parent to a child. The couple, husband and wife themselves, is an important relationship, and as such, that brings into our minds the fourth part, which is supporting your partner's conscious development, not assuming that you have a greater wisdom or authority than they, but fostering the aspirations and accomplishments of the others. The fifth is learning to communicate, speak directly, converting your complaints into requests. And the sixth is understanding how our personal myths and stories from our past and present guide and direct who we are. So lastly, really quickly, I want to talk about how we are forced to come into a fourth order of mind, or a fourth level of consciousness, in order to deal with all of these expectations. So the fourth order of mind is the mental structure which gathers our cross-categorical constructions into a complex and integrated system. This requires an ability to create and recreate roles, as well as their ability to grasp cross-categorical roles like we see in the third order. But in the fourth order, we are responsible for those roles. We have those roles, and we are able to organize them, see the relationships to our relationships, rather than be had by them, and see our responsibility to our roles or within our roles.